The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
You look at it and you say, I wish I would have acted or been different. I think in my mind, I could be wrong. I think wrestling fans who decided to, you mentioned Ozzy with being crucified about being part of the devil, or the Hulk Hogans because of his political affiliation, booing someone and trashing him. And now he's gone. He's gone forever. The guy that made wrestling what it is today, with no Hulk Hogan, there is no wrestling. And it goes beyond that, people. It goes beyond wrestling. He changed lives. As a kid, when you're growing up and you have all this noise around and you're worried and there's drugs around and things like that, you turn on the TV, and regardless of what the reality of it was, you had this hero telling you to take your vitamins, say your prayers. Regardless, people, oh, it's bullshit, whatever. It's the message. And for me personally, this is one of the, as odd as it sounds, is one of the most difficult days I've had in a very, very long time. For me personally, Hulk Hogan was my hero, my idol. And I'm sure that is for a lot of other people. Guys, Jimmy, if you don't mind, I'm going to put my glasses on because of the reflection, because I want to read people's comments. And then
sure.
The
first time I laid my eyes on Hogan, I knew right away. I was just a small kid at the time, but when he came to the ring with Fred Blassie, I knew right away. I was like, oh my God, the guy. Here's another one, Mike. He had made a personal connection somehow. I don't know the man, but he comforted me. Correct? It's
absolutely.
It's the same thing in a lot of ways. This has been a double kick to the groin. This is the hardest show. I told you before we went on the air. This is the hardest show I've ever had to do.
We've had a lot of hard shows, bro.
I got a roll of paper towels here, Mike, just in case. What the fridge? Anyway.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon on Twitter. He's been around, not been on for a while. The world has lost a treasure today. Hulk Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time. Someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer. The first performer who transitioned from being wrestling, again, guys, sorry, star to a phenom. And, you all could read it. I'm sorry, my reflection. To make Vince McMahon come out and make that statement, first of all, thank you, Vince McMahon, for doing that, because that was well-deserved. Jay, do we still got an echo? And Jimmy, do I have an echo still?
No, I've been hearing you fine on my end, but I'm not sure how they're hearing it.
RJ Hudson, Rip Ozzy, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Guys, this is going to be a show for you guys. We already decided this going in.
Yeah.
We have a $10 super chat. Sir Drums. Hey, guys. Thank you, Sir Drums. Steve Gotenberg. Hello, everyone. Steve, how are you? Ozzy, J. Will. Ozzy Osbourne means a Road Warriors squash match to me.
Nice. Yeah, what about that for a perfect song, right, Mike? For the Road Warriors?
Yeah. Hogan is the Babe Ruth of wrestling. Yes. Jason, you're 100% correct.
Yes. Yep.
Rip Malcolm Jamal Warner. That's another man. Dies. It's Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, and Chuck Mangione.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got a call in. Okay, just bear with me.
Mangione. Yep.
Hey, man, how are you? You're on the air.
I was, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty good. But now I'm just sitting here watching television, and I'm sad. I don't know if any of your listeners know we just lost Hulk Hogan today. And he was the type of guy, I met Hulk Hogan the first time, either in 77 or 78 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Tommy Rich, me and Tommy at that time, I believe we was Georgia Tag Team Champion. Hogan was just breaking into the business, but he was the most polite, general person we let. So me and Tommy Rich, we fell in love with the guy. So one day, they had I just beat Dennis. I believe I beat somebody for the title or something. But there was a lot of not too big guys in Georgia at that time. And Tommy Rich had an idea to talk to Ole Anderson, who was the booker, and see if they could work a program with me and Hogan. He just started the business. Ole Anderson said, "No, that guy would never draw any money in this business." And what said to him, and this ran, I believe, 77 or 78, maybe as late as 79, because I was still hanging around there around that time. But Hogan always knew about that, and from years, 40 years later, he brought that story up about what me and Tommy Rich, did for him. Then when he came into, I met him, I didn't see him anymore until I went to WWF, and of course he was with Freddie Blassie. He was a heel and everything, but he had that respect for me because when he broke into the business, I was a champion. I was in the business before him, and I was a champion. You only like guys that helped him at the beginning. He was the same Hulk Hogan that I met years later with the same Hulk Hogan that me and Tommy Rich met in the late 70s. He never changed towards how he treat people. Very humble, a good guy. I know people say this and that about him, but I never listened to them people because I know this man probably longer than anybody in the wrestling business. There were very few people that knew Hogan in the 70s that is still living. That's how long I've been on him. Always treated me like a piece of gold. Always was nice to me. Always asked, Tony, anything I can do for you? If you need anything, you let me know, brother. Let me know, brother. Anything you need. Here's my number. Always gave me his private number. I never used it because I didn't want to take advantage of our friendship. But my opinion of this man here, regardless of what anybody said, wrestling, everything that everybody do in the wrestling world right now, they owe to that man. Here's the reason why. We used to do a show. We would go to the show. Show back then started at 8 o'clock. Got to be in the building by 7. We were about 12. We back, 10. It was over at 10. So by 11, we back at the hotel having a beer. Whatever we're going to do, we go to sleep. Hogan is working. A lot of people didn't know that. Hogan is working. We sleeping. Hogan is working. The only time Hogan slept, I remember one time I checked into a hotel with him, and the maid told me I would get up next morning and take my get my flight. She said, "Your friend never came back." I said, "Who?" And then she showed me his room. He checked in with us, but then they had a limousine waiting for him, and then they took him somewhere. He come. So while we was in the hotel relaxing, like most guys do, he was working. Then we get to the building. I'm only coming in. He do, hang around with the boys, laugh and joke, eat work. Then they have a limousine for him to take him somewhere else. We go back to the hotel and have a beer, and my beer and calamari, fried calamari. That's what I used to do on fried chicken wing. Hogan was working. I said, Hogan, when do you sleep? He said, well, when I'm in the plane or I'm in the car. When you get that limousine, he would curl right up and go sleep. That's all that. He would check into a hotel, but never get to stay in the bed. Vince worked this guy, to be honest with you, he did a lot of 16 to 18-hour days. A 16-hour day for Hogan was a short day. And people don't know all this stuff, all the behind-the-scenes stuff he had to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Somebody want to help sponsor the show. So they say, hey, can you get Hogan to come to our party? So Hogan wanted to do a show, leave the garden. Now he got to go hang out with these rich people because these people just gave Vince a bunch of money. See?
Yep.
But that's why Vince went so long with Hogan. Because he knew that he would do the 16, 18-hour days, 24/7. Vince had an old saying, goddamn sleep is my enemy. Vince believed that you rest when you retire. You know, all the rest you want. But right now you on my dime. And Vince would drain every bit of energy out of you. But that's not just Vince, that's business. And Hogan was a businessman. He was a true American. He loved his country. And for all the people that don't know him, he never had a racist bone in his body. If you don't believe me, ask Coco Beware. He the one that got Coco his job back. See? So a lot of things Hogan did behind the scenes. Hogan went to visit like sick kids, kids and stuff like that. All the time. On his own dime. He reached out to people. People was in need. He would go to these places, talk to these sick kids and all this stuff. He never refused a kid autograph. He never did anything to his fans. He treated his fans like gold. Like I said, one thing I say about Hogan and Vince. Vince would fire you if you refuse to sign an autograph. To Vince, the autographs is the world to Hogan. When a fan come up to him, I mean, that was his world. He treated everybody with the utmost respect. He treated me, gave me a lot of tough love, though. I mean, he chewed my ass out several times about stuff, He said, Tony, I want you to remember something. I said, what is that, Huckster? He said, when I first met Tony Atlas, he worked out a lot, took care of business, got high a little bit. He said, now the Tony Atlas I know, get high all the time, barely work out, and don't take care of business. So you're the first person I've seen. I've seen a lot of people work their way from the bottom to the top. You're the first that worked your way from the top to the bottom. He said, do your friend a favor. Reverse that shit, brother. Work your way back to the top.
Tony,
You the man.
Tony,
There's nobody like Tony Atlas in this business. You the fucking man. Reverse that shit, brother. That's what he told me.
Jimmy's got a question. Jimmy's got a question, but I don't think you could hear him. Go ahead, Jimmy. What is it?
I just wanted to ask him about his working with Hogan, what it was like in the ring, because he had great
No, I
matchups with
can't
him.
hear him.
What was it like working with Hogan in the ring, Tony?
See, you got to realize, to Hogan, I was a veteran. You understand? To Hogan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you, Tony. You're good.
Okay. To Hogan, I was a veteran. Remember what I said? When Hogan started in the business, I was already a tag team champion probably twice. Once, because, I was already a champion. You understand what I'm saying? I was already a main eventer when he met me. I was teamed up with Tommy Wildfire Rich. Me and Tommy, we were dominating Georgia. We were the biggest thing in Georgia I've ever seen in '78. And Kevin Sullivan. We were rocking, brother. Hogan was hanging out with, to him, was a star. Hogan was watching me on TV. You understand? He's from Augusta, Georgia. How many times did we wrestle in Augusta that Hogan was sitting in that audience looking at me and Tommy Rich and Harley Race and all of us and Ric Flair? He was our fans. That's what made him get interested, looking at Tommy Rich, Ric Flair, Tony Atlas, Mr. Wrestling number 2. Hogan grew up watching us. You understand what I'm saying? He broke in the business a little bit later than I did. He was in his mid-20s. Because me and him right about the same age. But anyway, I was already a star when he met me. So when I worked with him, he did whatever I told him to do. He let me do what I want to do. He was very respectable towards the veterans. Andre the Giant was a veteran when he fought fighting the veterans. When I walked away with Harley Race, but one reason, more than this reason, I respected Harley Race. Also, he could have whooped my ass, so it was two of you.
Right.
I didn't give no shit. So, but I respected Harley Race. I respected Ole Anderson, Gene Anderson, all these guys. These are the guys that broke me into the business. So the rest of the business, you respect your vets. Your veterans.
Yeah.
See?
Tony.
Whoever had, it was called seniority back in them days. It's like two wrestlers, you pull up with your card. You got two wrestlers you got to pick up. One wrestler been in the business for 20 years. The other wrestler been in the business for 5 years. Well, the wrestler that been in the business for 5 years in old days would be carrying the bag of their 20-year-old wrestler, putting it in the thing, get in the back seat, and let the veteran sit in the front seat. That's how it worked. You understand? Like I rode the other day with Greg Valentine. Now, even though me and Greg broke in right about the same time, his father helped train me. I worked with his father. So when I was riding with Greg, I let Greg have the front seat out of respect for his father. When I rode with Lenny Poffer, U.S. Tommy, the guy that do the 80 shows and stuff, and the 90 show, I sat in the back seat and let Lenny Poffer sat in the front seat because Angelo Poffer was somebody I worked against. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It was a respect for those that paved the way for us. And Hogan honored that. When he with any veteran, he treated them with the most. You would think you the star. When I was around Hogan treated me like I was a star. That's Hogan. He was the most humble champion we ever seen in his business. Very humble. Loving, good Christian, good American. Love this country, love his fan, love his job, love everybody. He didn't have a bad word to say about anybody. But he was a businessman now, so sometimes people get business confused with friendship. See, sometimes a person owning a business got to make a decision he don't want to make, but for the sake of the business. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That happened in all walks of life, not just in the wrestling business. Business is business. Sometimes people would do things that interfere with Hogan business. He got a family to take care of. So he can't jeopardize his career and his family just because you want to be a jerk off. Okay?
Tony, final question to you is: Hulk Hogan, does the WWE owe Hulk Hogan? This is from Mr. Rodriguez in the chat. A lifetime achievement award.
Brother, not just the WWE. Everything that you see now came from Hogan, AC, all these groups, WCW. See what Hogan did when he got in that movie. I watched that movie. I said when I watch it, I said, my God, this is going to make a lot of people come and see wrestling. Nobody even thought about wrestling. People had no idea the impact of that movie. It brought a whole new group of people that never even heard about wrestling to wrestling. Vince, who is smart, capitalized on it. I mean, Hogan in that movie, it was more popular. Nobody seen anything like that before. Never. In any movie. That leg drop, if you watch that movie, the way they did it, the way he hit the Stallone, and the way they put Hogan over to look like this big monster, wild, crazy, and the moves and everything he did, and the way they did it, you watch that movie, and people that never even thought about wrestling, they said, man, I've never seen this before. I got to go see this. I got to go see this. So right away, as soon as Vera took it back, everything was a sellout. But here's what put the icing on the cake. You know how they say everything come in threes? Did we hear that term?
Yes, sir.
Everything come in threes. This was something that was meant to happen. It would never happen again in probably 1,000 years. It was just destiny. It was destiny. Everything fell in place perfectly. This is what happened. The Ayatollah Khomeini was holding American hostages. The Vince got the idea to put the belt on the original, legitimate Shah of Iran personal bodyguard. Not a fake Iranian, the real deal. Straight from Iran. Straight from Iran. Cursing, spitting on the flag, stupid in America, hot toys, get on America. They need it, all America boy. They needed somebody to stand up and would fight for America. That's what they needed. They wanted to go to war with Iran. They needed this person to fight for America. And the belt, the heavyweight championship of the world, is on the Iranian, and we would go to the Iran conflict at the same time. Hogan came and beat the sheet. The building came unglued. How I know? If you watch the match, what was the match that followed the Hogan match?
I have no idea.
Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson.
Wow.
We were the match. We went right after Hogan. We were all standing there. That building freaking exploded. You would think a bomb went off. And everywhere we went from that day on, every Coliseum sold out. For years. Hulkamania. What we were talking about, 10, 20 years? And from Hulkamania, everything else sprung off of that seed that was planted by Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. And it all happened, and it could never happen again because you can't put them three things together again. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no way. Yep.
You can't hold the American hostages. You can't have the Ayatollah remaining, and you don't have the Sheik anymore. So the only person that's alive today that was a part of this big wrestling explosion is Vince. The Sheik is gone.
Yep. And
that's why they wanted the belt off of Backlund. They couldn't do it with Backlund. They needed that belt to be on a heel. They needed an America to come and take that belt off of this Iranian. Now, believe it or not, and then I got to go. That happened to me twice in both of the sports I was in. It happened in the sport I was in bodybuilding. What happened was, with Cuba, Castro took over Cuba. Now, this guy named Sergio Oliva, they call him the Myth, came to America and won the Mr. Olympia contest. Well, right away, Joe Weider needed somebody to beat him. Larry Scott couldn't beat him. They were hoping that Dave Draper would do it, the blonde bummer. Well, Dave Draper, for some reason, didn't compete against him. Then they found this kid in Austria, and they brought him to America and started training him to beat Sergio, the big Myth, the Cuban. Go online and look at Sergio Oliva. Even today, you don't believe that a person really looked like that. He didn't use steroids. It was just a freak of nature. Him and Franco Colombo, they were freak of natures. So anyway, the first time around, Sergio beat him. Where Honor hit the gym harder and harder, and he beat the Cuban. Honor career shot up. Hogan beat the Iranian, and the business shot up. Arnold Schwarzenegger beat the Cuban, and the company grew. Not as big as, because they didn't have the platform that wrestling had, but it brought bodybuilding to the light. Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's the thing that Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger and the similarity between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Hulk Hogan, they both did the same thing. Arnold did it in the early 70s, and Hogan did it in the mid 80s. About a 12, 15 year difference, but they both did the same thing in two different sports. Ain't that strange?
It is. It is.
Yep. So some things are just meant to happen. But it won't happen twice. You would never see another Hulk Hogan. You would never see anybody that pop wrestling the way he did. It would never happen again.
So, Tony, I know you got to go, but if I could ask you one last thing. If you had a chance to talk to Hulk Hogan before his passing, what would you say to him?
I love you, brother, and thank you for being a friend and a mentor. And I wish I had listened to you earlier. I wish I had listened to some of the advice he gave me. He tried to give me good advice, but I was hard-headed. I didn't take it. But and thank you for what you did for the rest of the world. Thank you for all the kids and the sick people that you went to visit, and all the hard work you did to make wrestling what it is now. They're not just wrestling. Thank you for being a human being, an American hero. There's somebody that, you can have your kids look up to Hogan. Hogan was a great champion, for American being strong, brave, and patriotic to your country. A good American, a great American.
Well done, sir, and thank you.
He should be looked at in that way. He was a great American. He brought wrestling not just to America. I mean, see, America, we got cable. I mean, you talking about Europe, Japan. Come on, man, the world. This guy introduced wrestling not just to America, but to the wrestling would never, trust me. Who was going to do that? We had all these guys with the great bodies up. You had me, Jimmy Snuka, Piper. Look like all these people. They didn't have that. Nobody was like that. Taker came close, but not like Hogan. See, a lot of these guys, even though they got big, what happened with these guys when they leave the ring? Nobody talk about them anymore. When did the people stop talking about Hulk Hogan? You tell me.
Never.
See? That's what I'm saying. He would never be forgotten. guys like Bruno Sammartino and Hogan, but even Bruno, nobody's talking about Bruno no more, but Hogan. I mean, this was something that shocked the world. He was like he was the Muhammad Ali of the wrestling business, but in a bigger stage. Yeah, he was bigger than any celebrity ever walked the face of the earth. Babe Ruth, all of that. Nothing like this ever happened in any sport. Nobody talking about Michael Jordan anymore. Tom Brady, as great as it. When did I tell you everybody talk about anything about Tom Brady? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hogan was probably the biggest star the world has seen in centuries. It's gonna be a long time for anybody, fill them shoes, brother. Because they don't have his work ethics. 16, 18-hour days, 7 days a week. Hello, you do that.
For decades. And
have energy for the fans for every show. Be at the top of your game every night, 365 at the top of your game. For how many years? You try that. Ric Flair did it. See? That's why Ric Flair beat up looking. But he didn't do it at the what I'm trying to say, he didn't do it at the height of Hogan, because he didn't have the platform. He got a little bit of it with WCW, but not the hype that Hogan had. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Flair was on, the skyscraper. They both skyscraper. Flair was on the 35th floor. Hogan was on the 76th, floor. They were skyscraper. That was a different. Yeah. That was a different. Brother, love you.
Love you, man.
And tell everybody out there, pray for this guy. Don't say nothing bad about this man. He don't deserve none of that. None of that stupid shit.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you've done in the industry.
Nobody got a right to say anything bad about a guy that did so much for so many. I mean, you had some little kid that were mentally ill kid, all the mentally ill schools that this guy went on his own time. Ask Jimmy Hart, you don't believe it. On his own time. Hogan would get out of his limousine and go over and hug a kid in a wheelchair. Come on now. That man had so much love in his heart for this country. Had a lot of love for this country, man. A lot of love for this country. And you know what I like about it most? Huh?
Go ahead, Tony.
He was a dadgum old rubber southerner just like me. He from Georgia. I'm from Virginia. I know y'all don't like that up north, but us Southerners, we got a love for each other. You understand?
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Tommy Richard from Tennessee. See? I still got a little of that silver string in me. And he was a Southerner. But an American first and always. A true American. You want to see what an American person is? That's him. 16, 18 hours work days and never complain. Never.
Well done, Mr. Atlas.
I thought he complained after 8.
Well done, Mr. Atlas.
I'm going to go to sleep, Vince. Come on, Vince. When we going to eat, Vince? Vince said, Tony, come on, Vince. I got to get my workout in. I got to go. I do that with you, right, Marty?
That's it, brother.
Be, man?
That's it.
Hogan's sitting there smiling.
All right, we love you, Tony. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
God bless you.
A piece of grapes. Starving to death. Nibbling them grapes and crackers. I remember that.
Amen,
Starving.
sir. All right, big guy. I'll talk to you.
All right, good night.
Everybody, the great Tony Atlas. Jimmy, you're back, baby. Sorry about that. Tony Atlas, man.
Yeah, I was hoping that Tony was going to be a hard act to follow, and he was. How's that?
Just so you know, the great Ron Shaw's in the house. We've got our family in. Maria
Big
Davis has returned. A lot of great comments popping up there.